We aim to create a new leadership class for America, marked by courage, learning, friendship, patriotism, and vocational excellence.
The desire to fight has got to come from a visceral love for your country, or else it will not seem worth any struggle against its corruption.
What shall we do with this enormous inheritance, which is our birthright citizenship in history's greatest republic?
Our first award tonight is our George W. Carey Professor of the Year Award. George Carey, as you know, was one of the foremost interpreters of the American political tradition, a longtime Georgetown professor, ISI trustee, author, and associate editor of Modern Age. This year's winner is Glenn Loury. Glenn has been involved with ISI actually going back to the 1990s, where he lectured as part of our prep school program and on college campuses on the topic of race relations in the 21st century. He was recently on the ISI podcast to discuss how conservatives should talk about race, and he taught an Alumni Liberty Fund seminar on the political economy of race, drawing on his book, The Anatomy of Racial Equality. Over the past 2 years, he has served as something of a conscience of the nation, navigating turbulent times, not only educating students in his own classroom at Brown, but also through his podcast and writing and public speaking, helping the entire nation to think about the issue of race. He is a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, the Merton P. Stoltz Professor of Economics at Brown University. He is also a distinguished fellow of the American Economics Association, a member of the American Philosophical Society, and of the U.S. Council on Foreign Relations, a fellow at the Econometric Society of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He holds a BA in math from Northwestern and a PhD in economics from MIT. Please join me in welcoming Glenn Loury, the George W. Carey Professor of the Year.
Wow, well, I am very grateful to the Intercollegiate Studies Institute for this honor. Pleased to be standing before you this evening. I have brief remarks that I'm going to share, appropriate for the occasion. You did hear correctly that I teach at Brown University, and yet I'm here standing before you tonight. What do you want to make of that? Okay, here we go. I'm a Black American intellectual in an age of persisting racial inequality in my country. I'm an Ivy League college professor and a descendant of slaves. I am a beneficiary of the Civil Rights Revolution, which has made possible for me a life that my forebears could only have dreamed of. I am a patriot who loves his country. I'm a man of the West, an inheritor of its great traditions. Tolstoy is mine. Franklin, Hamilton, and Adams, they're mine. Newton, Maxwell, and Einstein are mine. So what, I ask, are my responsibilities at a forum such as this? I feel compelled to represent the interests of my people, but that reference is ambiguous, invoking as it does both communal and civic antecedents. At this moment of so-called racial reckoning, I wish to declare for all the world to hear that regardless of the political turmoil enveloping us, my fundamental responsibility is to stay in touch with reality and to insist that others do as well. I'm going to make the case here, briefly, for the forthright embrace of American nationalism by Black people. The currently fashionable elite opinion concerning Blacks' relationship to the American project, exemplified, for instance, by the New York Times 1619 Project, serves the interest, rightly understood, of neither the country nor of Black Americans. This America ain't so great and never was posture is a sophomoric indulgence. For we blacks in the 21st century, our birthright citizenship in this republic is an inheritance of immense value. Black Americans are a privileged and a blessed people. Our Americanness is much more important than our blackness. The Civil War left 600,000 dead in a country of 30 million. The consequence of that war, together with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments enacted just afterward, was to make the enslaved Africans and their descendants into citizens. In the fullness of time, we have become equal citizens. Should that have taken another 100 years? No. Neither should my ancestors have been enslaved in the first place. But here's the thing. Slavery has been a commonplace human experience since antiquity. Emancipation, the freeing of the slaves en masse, after a movement for abolition, that was a new idea. It was a Western idea. It was the fruit of enlightenment. It was an idea brought to fruition over a century and a half ago in our own United States of America with the liberation of 4 million people, an achievement which would have been impossible but for the moral commitments and philosophic insights cultivated in the 17th and 18th centuries in the West. Ideas about the essential dignity of human persons and about what makes a government's exercise of power over its people legitimate. Something new emerged at the end of the 18th century in America. And the subsequent extirpation of American slavery led to something that advanced the morality and the dignity of humankind, namely emancipation. It is a fact that abolition and the incorporation of African-descended people into the body politic of the United States, these were monumental, unprecedented achievements for human freedom. So, I say to you here and now, without equivocation, that the American nation belongs to me, a descendant of slaves, every bit as much as it belongs to anyone else. The question confronting us Black Americans today is not whether we are included within the body politic as full heirs to the bequest of American political culture. We most emphatically and obviously are. Today's question for us descendants of slaves is not how to end our oppression, but rather, what shall we make out of our freedom? What shall we do with this enormous inheritance, which is our birthright citizenship in history's greatest republic? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.